I never know how poems start. Poems by Michael Rosen. Illustrations by Yulia Samina.
Introduction. My name's Michael Rosen, and I write poems. I do other things as well, like talking on the radio. And I also spend a lot of time visiting schools and talking to children about my poems. Sometimes I suggest that they can write in ways I do. I first started writing poems when I was about 16, and I've been doing it ever since. Poems come in many different shapes and sizes. They can sound as if all sorts of different people are speaking, and they can be about very different sorts of things. They can also be very, very serious, about the most awful and tragic things, or they can be full of silliness and nonsense, and all sorts in between. I never know how poems start. Sometimes it's something that I hear. Sometimes it's something I see. Sometimes it's something I remember. Sometimes it's something I imagine. Sometimes it's something I read. Sometimes it's some of these things all at the same time. A thing I've heard could be a sound, like the screech of a seagull, or someone saying, "I lost my tooth down the toilet." A thing I've seen could be anything I think looks interesting, like how the back of my hand looks like a map, or an angry man at the bus stop. A thing I remember comes to me when I daydream, like remembering where I used to play, or what my grandmother's house was like. A thing I imagine can also be part of a daydream, where I say to myself, "What if?" Like, what if my cat ran away? Or what if my foot went shopping? A thing I read can be a thought that comes to me as I read, like wondering what people in stories are thinking and remembering. Wrong. We went on holiday with Mr. Wrong. Everything we said, he said was wrong. He asked us if night came before day, or day before night. We said that day came before night. He said, wrong. So we said night came before day. He said, wrong. He asked us which came first, Sunday or Monday. We said Sunday. He said, wrong. So we said Monday. He said, wrong. He asked us if he was telling fibs. We said yes. He said, wrong. He asked us if he was telling the truth. We said yes. He said, wrong. Then we asked him, "Why are you asking us all these questions?" He said it was because we liked it. And we said, wrong. This poem started out from something I remember someone saying. When I was a boy, we went on holiday with a man who loved asking us questions and telling us we were wrong. Wrong, he kept shouting. I like poems that have bits in them that are repeated, a chorus or refrain. This means that when I read the poem to other people, they know what's coming and can join in. Then I like to surprise people by changing something to do with the last chorus. I think surprises in poems are what makes them interesting. The one you stop is you. We met me in a shelter, waiting for a bus. We said we didn't like me. I was afraid of us. We stood in my way to stop me getting on the bus. But the driver would only drive if I was on the bus. So we all got on, as I was one of us. I heard some boys at a bus stop saying they didn't like someone. I thought, they don't realize that the people they say they don't like are actually very like themselves. So, to show that, I wrote, "We met me in a shelter," and "We said we didn't like me." I was trying to say that me and them are all part of we. The 5 senses. I can't see my own eyes. I know because I looked. I can't hear myself snore. I tried, but I fell asleep. I can't taste my own tongue, because my tongue gets in the way. I can't smell my own nose, because I can't turn my nose inside out. And the tip of my finger can't touch the tip of itself, because the tip of my finger is on the tip of my finger. When I write, I like turning really well-known things into things that we don't know. I was thinking about my eyes, and isn't it strange that they can't see themselves? Then one evening, I started thinking about the other 4 senses too. Some things are impossible, so we have to imagine them. Impossible things are fun to write about. Where broccoli comes from. Not many people know that broccoli grows in the armpits of very big green men who live in the forest, and brave broccoli cutters go deep into the forests, and they creep up on the very big green men. They wait for the very big green men to fall asleep, and the broccoli cutters get out their great big broccoli razors, and they shave the armpits of the very big green men. And that's where broccoli comes from. Not many people know that. Just thought I'd let you know. I always find it great fun to pretend to be someone else when I write poems. I was thinking here that I could pretend to be an expert on where things come from and how things grow, but really getting it all wrong. True. Nothing rhymes with nothing. Nobody knows nobody. Does nothing rhyme with nobody? Nobody knows nothing. I like making up puzzles. Nothing rhymes with the word nothing, except for the word nothing. There isn't anybody in the world who doesn't know anyone at all. The word nothing doesn't rhyme with nobody, but perhaps there is a word that rhymes with nobody. There isn't anyone who knows nothing at all. The house, the dog, and Mr. Robinson. In the house, behind the broken fence, where the brambles have smothered the path, and the bricks have fallen out of the wall, lives a dog who growls and winks. No one goes near the house behind the broken fence, where the brambles have smothered the path and the bricks have fallen out of the wall, where there's a dog who growls and winks. The dog growls and winks because Mr. Robinson tells him jokes. And as Mr. Robinson tells the dog jokes, Mr. Robinson growls and winks. Knock, knock, says Mr. Robinson. Ruff, ruff, says the dog, but he means, who's there? Cat, says Mr. Robinson, and he knows that his dog will be interested in cats. Ruff, ruff, says the dog, but he means, of course, cat who? Catch this, says Mr. Robinson, and Mr. Robinson throws the dog an old sock, and Mr. Robinson growls and winks. In the house behind the broken fence, where the brambles have smothered the path and the bricks have fallen out of the wall, lives a dog who growls and winks. I'm telling knock-knock jokes, the old dog thinks. There's a house near us that looks just like this. I was with my children on a bus when we saw the house. I started to make up this story about a dog who I imagined lived there. We came home and I started writing it down. If. Imagine if your nails were nails, so every time they got long, you could hammer them in a bit to make them short. Imagine if your sink sinks, so every time you had a wash, it would get lower and lower. Imagine if your painting was painting, so every time you looked at it, you'd see the painting painting itself. Imagine if a letter was a letter. Then, when you opened it, there would be only one letter, an A, or an F, or whatever. Imagine if the stars were stars. So when you looked up at the sky at night, it would be full of famous people from the movies. I like playing with words. The longer I look at a word, the more odd things I seem to find in it, and all sorts of different meanings and ideas pop out. Can you see a noise? Can you see a noise? Can you see a picture of noise? Can you hear a noisy silence? Or hear a silent noise? Can you smell a noisy smell? Or smell a smelly noise? Can you taste a noisy taste? Or taste a tasty noise? Can you feel a noisy noise? Is there a noise you can feel? Like a cold noise, a hot noise, a dry noise, a wet noise. Is that a noisy picture? Is that the picture of noise? In one of William Shakespeare's plays, someone says, "I see a voice." It's supposed to be silly, but I often wonder about playing with our senses like this, and it's what I've written here. I invented the frisbee. On a camping trip, my brother and me invented the frisbee. Frisbees that spin as they fly, as they zoom, as they dip. A frisbee. It's a disc, a satellite, a UFO, a spaceship. The frisbee that looks like it should hum or whir or buzz. It doesn't even whisper. It flies or spins. That's what it does. On a camping trip, my brother and me invented the frisbee. I was 7. My brother was 11. We were washing the dishes, thin, lightweight picnic plates. My brother and me got bored. It was getting late. So we started throwing plates that spin as they fly, as they zoom, as they dip. Look! That plate is a disc, a satellite, a UFO, a spaceship. A plate that looks like it should hum or whir or buzz. It doesn't even whisper. It flies and spins. That's what it does. No one knows my brother and me invented the frisbee on a camping trip in 1953. Because we didn't ever tell anyone we did. I like playing frisbee, and every time I do it, it reminds me of when I was a boy, going camping and throwing camping plates. I tried hard to find words to describe frisbees and camping plates flying through the air. That took me a long time.